Did you put the app in?
Yeah, I downloaded it. Yes.
Oh, good. Good job. Okay, I think we're live now. I had a lot of great stuff planned for today, for this show, for tonight, and of course we're going to scrap all that. The good news is they caught the guy. Do you have that picture? The Highland Park shooter. There he is. Man, Cal, love you, love your show. Hello to all the happy Independence Day people. So sad about what happened in Highland Park. Yeah, there he is. Prayers for the people of Highland Park. The shooter has to be a Democrat. We don't know. They're keeping it under wraps, I believe, so they can spin it the way they want to spin it. Prayers to the families. I mean, unbelievable. My family, and I'm not going to do a Hillary Clinton. I was there at 9/11. I'm not going to do that, but I will tell you my family was very close to where it all happened. And, of course, my friend Billy, the Pumpkins, has a tea shop right there a block away, I guess. And they're all very shaken. And my friend Tony, his family was there. And this is really right where I live. And I was not there. My family was not there, but my family was close when it happened. I was here at Muller Manor getting ready for this. Bring it on. They got him. Yes. Let's put it up again. Hello, brother. That's my old stomping grounds. Okay. And I was supposed to meet up with Mr. Corrigan at Madame Zuzu's on Tuesday, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know what they're going to do. The staff is freaked out. People are freaked out. And I get it. And interesting, huh? All right, let's hit the intro, and then we're going to go to our first guest. Let's get going here. Let's get it started. And love your comments already. All right, let's just bring on Ray Ramblin, a buddy of mine, one of the good guys, a white hat competitor, and there are guys that we like and guys that we don't like. And how are you doing, Ray?
Buddy, it's interesting day. I'm at my house in northern Wisconsin, up here watching people drive around with flags and supporting the country and living life and being happy. And then I have to hear this news about what's going on at home. And just another one of those things that just pisses you off, and you're sitting there asking questions about why. And, of course, I heard Tammy Duckworth give and take on it today. I heard Pritzker talk about it. We're going to spin this as we spun every one of these things before we, right away, they talk about themselves. They talk about the gun issue, but they always make it about them and how they can fit the narrative of it's guns. But, man, in Chicago, and Kyle, you know this, it's prosecution. It's everything else. It's mindless. And I don't know much about this kid other than, if you can't see red flags on this kid, I would like to know what Homeland Security does. We're going to have red flag warnings on people, gun owning, law-abiding citizens, and you can't get a red flag out on this kid? Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm not a red flag guy, and certainly a guy with mental illness shouldn't have a gun, and that guy should have had a gun. I get it, but brother, you and me will be the first red flagged. Anybody that's not, the Biden administration, they fear, and the communist Democrats, they fear the truth because the truth wins, and they don't want the truth out there. So to silence us, they're gonna disarm us. And what can a government do to a disarmed populace? Well, the answer is anything they want. This is a very tough show because I have my theories about what this is. I don't think it was a false flag narrative or anything like that, but I have followed it closely, as I'm sure you have too. Look, you talk about being in Wisconsin and they're waving flags and celebrating, and I just think about the way the people, you saw them kicking the cop cars and jumping on the cop car hoods, and I would have floored it and run over them. But the cops are neutered, and so it's lawlessness, man. This is worse than the Wild Wild West because at least the sheriff could show up and shoot somebody. Go ahead, Ray.
Kyle, here's the thing. You bring up a good point. So I'll give you the perspective of what it's like to be outside of the city and outside of the state of Illinois. And when you go and you're up here, these folks, they think, they're like, how can you live in Chicagoland? Why do you want to do radio in Chicagoland? How can you do TV in Chicagoland? And they think that and I don't think they're wrong on many levels, but they think that it's the Wild West, and it certainly seems that way. But that's the perception that Chicago has. No prosecution. Kim Foxx. You got Mayor Lightfoot.
Yeah. I just lost him. I don't know if we did, folks. But I appreciated what he was saying. The video that the kid posted was demonic. I think one time on my, I think I was going to see the Blues Brothers, which I walked out of after three songs.
We castigate the police officers. That's a mental mind game with them every single day. It's just a vicious cycle, man.
Ray, we lost you for a second, so it's a little bit disjointed. But I was saying that Billy Corrigan and my children and a couple of friends went to see a horrible Blues Brothers show at Ravinia with was it John Goodman? Well, no, it was Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, and that was terrific. We left after 2 or 3 songs, but I think I met that kid that day, that creepy kid. Of course, the tattoos are memorable. Face tattoos, just so if you're considering one, let me tell you, only bad things are going to happen to you with face tattoos. You're never going to make any money. I had a guy, I was sitting in a hot tub, and the guy was working on the hot tub. I was at a friend's house, and he goes, "Man, I keep it real, man. I got tattoos all over." And they said, "Don't get tattoos." I was working at a place making $150,000 a year. They said, "Don't get tattoos." I said, "F the man." And I'm just like you, man. I fought the man. And I said, "Wait a minute. What do you make a year?" He goes, "I make about 30 grand. I said, "You give up $150,000 a year so you could have a neck tattoo? You're an idiot. That's not me. You're fighting the man. You're not fighting anything. You're sitting around broke." Well, you got to be smarter so you can live to fight another day. How tough is it? You were there at my old station. You're around. How tough is it right now, Ray, to do radio? I mean, the last 2 years were like just really for me running face first into a brick wall every day.
It's hard for me to say because there's, I use radio to one. I like to get my point across, and people know who I am, man. I got American flag on my arm. I'm an American guy, but I do a lot of charity work. Right there, man. Yeah. I do a lot of charity work and outreach in the city. And Kyle, we can reach across the aisle, and I can work with guys like Ray Lopez, and I can work with these people in the inner city, and I can use radio to help me move that platform. And without that platform, it's hard, it's hard. We can do our podcast, but still that reach of having that big station is something that really helps guys like me and you. Now, has it gotten hard? Has it gotten difficult? Is it harder for a guy like me to get a job because of my views? Because I said I endorsed President Trump in 2016. I had a former agent of mine tell me, she goes, "You'll never work in Chicago again after saying that." And I just thought, well, I guess, Well, so far she's been kind of right.
Well, one of my meetings, which I'm sure we talked about, was the protesters are righteous. This is after I saw them defecating the stores and setting Michigan Avenue on fire for a second time. And had to park outside the city. Bob Surratt was sitting at home, and I don't have any dislike for Bob or anybody else, but yes, I do hate some radio people, but not Surratt. But he's another white-hatted guy, okay? But he's sitting at home, and they're all sitting at home, and I fought through that hell to get to the station,
right?
And I was to call them righteous. They're shitting in the stores. They're righteous. They chased me down and yelled racist things because I'm a white guy. They're righteous.
Yeah.
And then it got to promote the vaccine and don't question the election and really don't do anything interesting that would cause debate. And you cannot do talk radio. You cannot have a conversation in that kind of a world. Ray, hang on just a second. I'm just looking at these comments. Great stuff. You talk about reaching across the aisle. Ray Lopez isn't reaching across the aisle, but I don't want to reach across the aisle. We keep acquiescing to these people. We keep losing ground. Screw them. And they went against Bailey with this Irvin guy who came in third. And I think it's time. These people don't know what real conservative is. I've been here since 1994. They have no idea. Rauner wasn't a real conservative. He was, conservatives don't pay for late-term abortion. Yeah.
If you want to look, let's talk about Trump. Trump wasn't a real conservative either, but Trump had ideas and things that worked. So people started to dig him and jump on the train. Donald Trump, to do business in New York all those years, was not a Republican conservative. Fact.
Hung out with Hillary.
But if you take somebody with common sense, what we lack so much, common sense works. Now, when I say reach across the aisles, what I do is I go into this inner city, Kyle, where people don't want to go. Where everybody that has the hate has no sign, has no home here. They got all their flags out there. All these people that are virtue signaling bullshitters,
Yeah.
I go in and I work in that community, and I got to tell you, there's some good people there that deserve more than the BS they get
No.
from the same policies over and over and over again that just fail them. It's time.
Well,
it's time for Illinois to wake up, and it's
well,
time for people to vote for Darren Bailey.
Well, and I love the local media. Bailey got less votes than Pritzker. Yes, because there was one name on the Democratic ballot. I heard a radio host that you and I both love, and I say that sarcastically. I don't think we like him, but he's a conservative. But he won't tell you what party he identifies with, and he hated Trump, and it's just such bullshit. And of course, he's gonna. Oh, it's nothing. It's pablum. It's pre-chewed bullshit. And he's in the talking points, and the rhinos are repulsive to me. Look, the rhinos are almost the Republican in name only. That's what that means, folks. But the fake Republicans are worse to me than the commie liberals. At least they're commie liberals. You know what a Lightfoot is. But some of these people are running. Bailey is the real deal. They say that no city folk are going to vote for him because he's a country boy. My nearest neighbor is half mile away in Suicide Falls, Missouri, and I'm a country boy. And I look, it's common sense, and I think he's a good. I know you're a fan as well. I think it's, and that's why I endorsed him. But I think it's. I think he's going to be a good guy, and he's going to do a good job. And I think Vallis is the same way. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you. You're thinking I'm not relating to what you're saying or not hearing you. What has man kind of lost his mind? He's talking about something I wasn't even talking about. No. I want to tell you where I'm going with this. Where is it the most violent? Where is the most killing going on? And where is the most stupidity? And I will tell you that if you look at a map, their pipes are loaded with lead. You know, this is a big issue with me. Nobody wants to talk about it. And I believe people are being kept stupid and violent on purpose. And I believe that they want every death they can so they can grab our guns. They're not enforcing the gun laws. They're not enforcing any laws. From chaos comes what? Communism. They will offer the answer. So they want this chaos. They want this death. They want our guns, and they will offer the solution. And it will be like it was under the phony plague, where we will be imprisoned. I want to say one more thing. And that is both Bailey and Vallis want school choice. You want to change America? You want to save America? You go in and you work in those neighborhoods, Ray? Great. I think we spend enough money on those neighborhoods. I'll be honest with you. We spent a lot of money for those neighborhoods. Give them school choice. Let them get out of the. Obama said to me, and I'll never forget it. It's an exact quote. It's not it's an exact quote. He said, "You care about education. Black people don't care about education." And I said, bullshit. When I talked to him about school choice, this is before he was president. Old Indonesian Barry. Go ahead, Ray.
You talk about school choice. You bring up a good point, because what these parents in the city will do, and I'm talking about hardworking moms and dads that bust their ass to make next to nothing, but they will spend every dime they can to send their kid to a private school because they don't even want them to go to the public schools. See, they're wasting their money on taxes. They're being overtaxed, and then they're spending every dollar and dime they have to put their kid into a school that teaches them some kind of a principle, Christian principle, something that they can believe in without teaching them all this other bullshit that we hear about all the time. And you're right, man. We can't continue to let it just keep going on and on and on and going down the same path, because Chicago we've got the strongest gun rules in the land.
It doesn't work.
And I want to know, where was Pritzker and Duckworth today talking about, where were the press conference for the 60 shootings that happened before Highland Park?
That's right.
We've got to,
And where were they defending the cops getting the lights kicked in and their windshield smashed? And
can't handcuff the cops. You got to let them do their job. Now you're going to tell them they can't chase after a perp?
Ray, hang on. Problem, reaction, solution, something I preached forever. I know exactly what you're saying. They create the problem. We react in fear. And the solution is always we lose a freedom or more money. Ray, you can't see these, but we're getting great comments. Open carry now. Yes. How is this live? How is it live? I don't know, stupid ass. How is it live? I'm sitting here and you're seeing it as I'm saying it. That's live, dipshit. Unbelievable. Happy 4th of July. Thank you. I'm celebrating the 4th with the 5th. It's a joke I used every year on radio starting in 1984. Boy, is that one well worn. Christ come back soon. I think I'm ready. I don't know, and then I'll check out something naughty online. You know what I mean? I was watching the howling scene. The woman from Sex and the City. I forget her name. Do you remember her name? Anyway, howling and Porky's. I'm like, oh, this is...
Sarah Jessica Parker.
No, not. Well, she's the one with the horse face. I'm talking about the woman who played Lassie in Porky's. The sex. My kids are here. The sex scene where she's moaning, and I'm thinking, God, I hope Jesus isn't. You know how you know.
Oh, Jesus is watching you.
Oh no, I hate that. Or my dead dad. God is watching me as I look at this. Anyway, I feel like I'm ready for the return of our Lord and Savior, but I don't know. You're friends with Jeannie Ives? She was on the
Yes.
show last week. Yeah.
Yeah, she's badass.
I have a very interesting guest coming up, and I should tell you, Kim Cattrall. Thank you. See, how's this live, Kim Cattrall?
Yeah, we practiced this in the
Howard Stern is finished. Have a funeral for him. Somebody's writing a book, and they called me. They said, you never got beat by him. Why? And I'll tell you why. There was, and Ray, I think you'll like this. Radio guys like this boring shit. But here we go. So there was a book called The Smoking Gun that I stumbled upon in Quimby's. You remember Quimby's bookstore? You do? Bike? I think it was a bike and bookstore or something. Anyway, Quimby's, it was an old book. I remember the Smoking Gun website. You can find this, Ray. And it had the files of CBS and Howard Stern and Mancow. And it was all the CBS files. And they did research. They couldn't figure out why, given a choice, people would always choose me over him. Now, this is not an ego thing, Ray. I know your ego's going, oh shit. This is what happens to radio people.
Man, I beat you from time to time. You didn't know.
Never,
beat me.
never. Okay.
Bullshit.
So
Look it up.
Oh, on the country station?
Yeah.
Oh no, that may be. But I'm talking about, head to head here. Head to head. You weren't my brother. You weren't my competition.
No, man. Howard never worked in Chicago.
No, but he did, brother. I was on at 330 markets. Let me just finish the story. It's I don't know if it's okay. I never backed down. And what happened is Mark and Brian and all these John DeBella, all these people. These names mean nothing to people in Chicago, but these are other cities. And they went, oh, he's great. He's just kidding. It's a radio war. And they got their asses kicked. They didn't fight back. And they sent a dress to the station that he was going to make me wear. And he was going to rape me and all this. And everybody in the station defecated in the box, and we sent it back to him. And they were free. They could not believe somebody was fighting back. And of course, then I beat him in Detroit, and I was on a CBS station, and that's when he and Buckwald, his agent, made calls and got me taken off.
We used to have some fun doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, men, Castration Nation, we're being neutered. Have you seen the new Avengers? Iron Man, 15-year-old girl.
Toy Story. I'm not going to go see Toy Story if Tim Allen's not in it. I don't need to see it.
Yeah. Well, and you know why they didn't put him in it? Because he's a conservative, and the stock is down. Yeah, get woke, go broke. The blackface from Stern was good. I remember that. But anyway, no, the stock for Disney is dumping. Chemical castration. Well, it's media castration, right? White guys are to be weak and soy boys. And I'll tell you, as you look around, and this is what the show was going to be tonight, it was going to be about CERN, what's going on with the hydrogen collider and how they're trying to open other dimensions and demonic dimensions. I believe we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about really, like I said, Castration Nation and how we're being neutered, and it's all by design. The last Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you saw that, it was moments of great stuff, and then it's really about this. It's just get woke, go broke. You're right. Someone asked a Disney executive, Buzz over and over, his boss is a lesbian woman, and you see her making out and all this. What am I to tell my kids? And the Disney executive said, tell them it's completely normal and they shouldn't even ask. Huh. So I think old Walt would roll over in his grave. I'm from the same area in Missouri, and yeah. Well, all right, brother. Bottom line, are you a Chris Plant fan?
You know what? I think Chris is an interesting guy. I'd like to hear him put together more than one or two thoughts and stop blaming everything on Hillary Clinton. And this is an honest question. Right. Most radio questions are not right. We know the answer, but Dan, I don't even know. Is it Dan Bongiorno? Bongino.
Is he cutting through? I swear to God, I have no idea.
I don't.
Does anybody listen to that? Any of the guys that replaced Stern, Rush, has it happened?
I think the only guy that kept Rush's ratings up on WLS after Rush passed was me.
But I mean nationwide.
I don't. You know what? I don't think so. And if he is, it would be a surprise to me because, while I like the things the guy stands for, Rush Limbaugh was so smart, and Rush could educate you while speaking to you, and he had this compassion about him. And even if you were on the other side, man, you'd listen to him to learn something, to understand him. And I don't think a lot of guys have that. And I think that's what radio's missing right now.
Well, Rush is, we evolved in the same pond, and it's that, it's the middle American common sense. Trump's uncle, someone's mentioning Trump's uncle and Tesla. And I don't know if you know this, Ray, it's a fascinating story, but Tesla is one of my heroes.
Oh, yeah.
And Tesla went into seclusion for 20, 30 years. He had so many great ideas, and he sat and he just basically became a hermit and wrote out all these ideas, and he died. And it was Donald Trump's uncle that went in and got all of the boxes, got everything, cleaned out the room. He lived in a hotel room in New York, cleaned everything out. And what did he find? Nothing. Nothing. There's nothing there. It was floor to ceiling with aisles to go through with papers.
Right.
The brilliant Tesla. What'd they find? Nothing.
You know what? Let them keep doing this trial of Donald Trump. Let them keep doing that, because they're taking the eye off the ball, man.
January 6th.
It is every day on my feed. It says, what did we find out about Trump today? Well, this guy is living rent free in their head, and for what reason? You watch Ron DeSantis. That's your guy, man.
Well, I like Ron. I'm still. Ron talked a good game, and I have no problem getting behind DeSantis, but he did not follow through on a lot of things. I mean, millions of kids were still wearing masks in Florida. When I went to Florida, I had to go through a glass maze at Disney where I thought I was going to pass out. I had to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And he could have easily said, look, stop it. We're
Right.
going to take your tax status away. And, he says the right things, but he doesn't follow through where Trump really followed through. And I'll tell you something else that nobody's mentioned. I've never heard anybody else mention this. And that is Trump really, my wife and I really care about child trafficking, sex trafficking, and all of this. And it sprung out of the church going back many years. But Trump really, do you remember those numbers? Like we caught 30, a guy had 32 kids he was going to sell. These stories, unbelievable. So Trump, in his dealings with Israel, did you see that the squad came out against Israel? I don't understand how anybody Jewish can be democratic, but look, there were people that stayed in Nazi Germany. This will pass. And they're scientific.
I've never understood why anybody.
Crystal Knox, get out of here. We're going to kill you. Leave.
I've never understood why anybody would have a problem with the only ally we have in the region. It makes absolutely zero sense.
Well,
and the stuff that I hear and Cal,
satanic.
now that I'm not doing this every day right now, I kind of remove myself from it a little bit, because it's like beating your head on a wall.
Yeah.
But this is like therapy for me. But how does the View stay on the air? Can somebody tell me that?
What's that?
How does the View stay on the air? My God, this stuff. It's open your eyes, people.
Brother, no.
Believe your eyes.
Well, look, it's demonic. Why are they against Israel? It's if you look at a map, Israel, it's Rhode Island. This is really an exact comparison. It's Rhode Island fighting America. That's what this is. And they've got just evil all around. And they're fighting. Look, I'll tell you what, I also don't like a lot of what big government Israel did to their people, and the forced this and that, the forced jabs. I didn't like it. And their numbers are startling. Anyway, look, let me, the distorted view, I like that. Trump's from my neighborhood. Okay, Frank, good to know. Yeah. January 6th has turned out to be a whole lot of nothing. And I love Trump. He carjacked his own presidential limo. Yeah. Okay. Hey,
you'll take me there, because I told you it will.
And I don't want to. We got other stuff to talk about. They did catch the Highland Park shooter. I do believe they will use this to try to disarm us. Problem, reaction, solution. We did mention all that. I did want to talk about the ghouls that I see for abortion. And I was wrong. I really believed we were together on this. All people. I believe this my entire career. And I was incorrect. I believe that all of us, left, right, whatever you were, it was a horrible thing. And nobody got an abortion without just a lot of heartache, and the heartache that stays with you. And I had known several women that had gotten abortions, and it's a pain that stays with you till the day you die. And something changed, man. These people out there, like, it's a death cult. It's a bloodlust. It's satanic. You look at them; they're demonically controlled or oppressed. I really mean this. You saw some of the creepy stuff?
Yeah, I can't reconcile anybody carrying a sign that says "I wish I was aborted."
Yeah.
Where does that logic come from?
Well, I bet the shooter in Highland Park. I bet you he wishes he was aborted right now.
You know, and
He hated himself.
you know, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. What we know on this guy. I know, you know, his father had run, I'm told, for mayor. You're
Agenda,
you're
agenda,
close with Highland Park,
agenda,
aren't you?
agenda. They will further their agenda,
Yeah.
and they will twist it any way they can. I hate that they put up Ramblin. I asked my guy to say Ramblin Ray, but Ramblin Ray is again a white hat competitor. Who else? I liked Mike North. I liked Ro Khan. He wasn't politically in line with me. Who did you like, or who do you like in our business?
On the air right now, nobody. I like me. You know,
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, go ahead.
I listen and I'm more, you know, now that I'm doing some stuff for Fox here and there, I find myself on, you know, watching Fox more than listening to radio. I think that, you know, radio stations. It's like when you go up to a Coke machine, man, Kyle.
Yeah.
If I go to if I'm listening to a radio station that's supposed to be a conservative radio station, if I'm listening to Dan and Amy, I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
If I go up to a Coke machine and press a Coke button, the Coke better come out. I don't want to hear a differing opinion or a differing view on what has been built and is a so-called conservative station. I don't like that. Dance with who brung you.
Were you ever a cop?
No.
All right, brother. Thank you. I got to move on. I love talking to you. I love you, and I wish you all good things. You know that, and you should be doing a morning show, and you know where. All right, guys. Let me. Kevin Matthews, absolutely a good guy. We hated each other. And I'll tell you, I thank. Well, you can't see it, but my Bible's up there and open. Can you see it? Can you see the cross? Those are the pages. Can you bring? Whatever. Anyway, you see the cross. You see the cross. Where is it? Hold on, right there. You see that cross? That's, it was God. It was God. We both got closer to God, and we're just brothers now. Wow, Vince. Yes, I still have it. Thank you. Yes. I was buried alive. And this guy, Vince, gave me a very cheap plastic rosary, and I cherish it. Thank you. God, it's good to hear you. It's good to hear you. One of my daughters just got a job, and it was a man that it was a man-cow fan, and I was with him for days. We both had twins. This was at Northwestern, and Cisco Cotto's another great guy. Yeah, I love him. I think he's done with the radio, though, isn't he? Anyway, I shared a waiting room, and we had preemies, and we spent days together. And one of my daughters, 16 years later, is now working for the guy. So it's a small world. Danny Bonaducci, I feel sorry for him, but not a good guy. Not the one I knew. Bongino is decent. Decent's not going to cut it. Look, guys, what you see is phony baloney-ness. You really do. You see safe. You see talking points, and they're not going to allow anyone to really tell you the truth. None of what I just said you can get on. Man-cow's hair. I still have a lock of man-cow's hair from my clone kits. Now, remember, if I die, you need to clone 100 of me, please. Okay, if I die. Our next guest, don't bring him up yet. Ralph. But this book. And I'm not a fan. I read 5 biographies a week, and I read about everybody. I'm not a big fan, but this book shocked me because someone I know is in every chapter, and we're going to bring him on, and I had no idea, and he didn't tell me. Folks, when we get together, we can do anything, and they can't take us down. I'm still here. You're still there. So keep a smile on your face and keep fighting the good fight. Don't let this. I was really disappointed to hear different friends say that, they're not going to go out. Fireworks displays canceled. Why? Don't let this piece of shit win. 4th of July should have gone on. We had a month of pride. We have one day for Jesus and one day for America. And whatever you think of pride, how about a month for Jesus? How about a month for America? And, things that I don't understand. Like I said, I don't understand abortion. I mean, how we got this far apart, both sides. It's an evil. And I thought we agreed on that. And Bill Clinton said, make it rare and make it rare and make it. What woman waits 8 or 9 months to abort a baby? And did you see the woman that had a big belly and she's pregnant, says not a human, not a human on her belly. And you better believe if she was in a car accident, that bitch would be the first one up trying to get money. You killed my baby. It's just the devilishness of it. The people that bitch the most about being victims get the most money from me. They're subsidized. I don't understand it. These are things I don't understand. A government that doesn't reflect anything that they care about. What do we care about right now? Gas prices, borders, jobs, things like this. We're talking about men's rooms. Can ladies go in there? Can some guy go in and take a shit next to my 4-year-old daughter? I mean, this is what they think we care about. Oh, I want to be a Cub Scout and wear a dress. Should you be able to pray at a football game? I mean, it's just the government doesn't reflect anything that they believe in. If you talk to African Americans, man, they are God-fearing people. Jewish people. What, you're voting for people that want to destroy Israel? Biden is your guy? You want to own that? And yet they keep voting for the same people. I mean, I think in some cases it's, well, you vote for that or God forbid you have to get a job. That's so, and then I love these assholes that move and then they vote the same way. So it's thanks. You moved to my town and brought your cancer with you. So you ruined your place. And so anyway, look, we have good news here. I did a nice dinner for Vallis. I'm going to do a nice dinner for Bailey. Bailey is who I'm backing for governor. You may have seen him on here. We're going to do a dinner for him at my restaurant, Marquezo, which is downtown Chicago. Not promoting it, but the Rhinos lost. I love this. Get rid of them. Vote conservative. Have you seen the tiny house movement online? Where, God, I live in a shed. Muller Manor is quite substantial, but this is all to get us ready for owning nothing and liking it, right? The Carl Schwab way of living. They can all be rich, but they want us to have nothing, and they don't want us to use their resources. If you don't, I think you do probably know what I'm talking about. If you go online, you see tiny houses, and there's shows, tiny house. This is a movement to limit us. And anyway, I get very upset at the TV. I think the only thing I watch anymore other than TCM, and that's classic movies, black and white movies. And there's an African-American bald woman on there that comes on and tells me, well, this movie's really awful. And it was always awful. But here it is. Thanks. Yeah, it's great. It wasn't awful. You changed. The commies have taken over Hollywood. It wasn't awful when they put it out. They weren't thinking this is awful. They weren't being mean. And the people that you so champion loved the same movies. So it's nonsense. Anyway, I'll be watching Tucker and he'll show some clip from MSNBC or some such bullshit. And I'll yell out. And my wife says, relax. I'll be driving, and cursing. And you're son of a bitch. Relax. Has it ever worked in anyone's life? No, in any man's life. Has that ever worked in any man's life ever? That when a woman says relax, the guy goes, yes, you're right. I'll come down. It has the exact opposite effect. Lead Steed, by the way, I had the wrong name. I was out at Solder World. He has Eric Soderholm, the baseball great, has a relaxation center. And a friend of mine we smoked up outside. And I just was so happy. Indica just depresses me, and I don't do it very often, but I took a little puff of something and I had to find out what it was. And it was just sativa. And I was just happy. So if you want to be happy, it's called Lead Steed. My birthday recently, and my daughters gave me a mug, World's Best Dad. And you know what? I'm thinking, I'm not really the best dad. I am, I think Joe Biden is the best dad. You know what I mean? He is the best dad. Okay. He is the best dad. Yeah. Go hang over there. We got a bit of a crowd watching us now. Ryan Zuber is here, the Zub steak from Vegas. Hi, Ryan. And Dewey, Lord of the Fat Chicks, is here. And some others. But Biden, come on, man. He got the prosecutor in Ukraine fired so that his son could keep making money, man. I wouldn't do that for my daughters. maybe even let war happen in Ukraine to cover up some of their crimes. I don't know. Yeah, I love these people. I'm with Ukraine. I'm with Ukraine. Do you know anything about Ukraine? Oh, I'm with whatever bullshit they tell me. I'm into slogans. Let's go to our next guest. I'm loving your calls. Happy belated birthday. Thank you. James, how do you say your last name?
Riordin.
Riordin. Would you and I agree on anything politically?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a born again Christian, and I'm pretty committed to Christian.
So James is an old friend of mine. My father was mayor of Lakehurst, New Jersey, where the Hindenburg went down, and he took away some secret files about what really happened. And I have those files, and James and I have probably for 20 years talked about writing a book.
Yeah.
And James, tell me some of your books.
Well, Break On Through is probably the most successful.
Breaking Through was the definitive Doors book.
Yeah, and
The
that
Band of Doors
was a lot of what they used for the movie The Doors.
Yes.
And then I wrote Stone, which is Oliver Stone's biography.
Yeah.
After that, I wrote The Bishop of Rwanda, which was about the genocide and about the bishop that tried to unite the warring factions, And, I wrote The Coming of the Walrus. I wrote several novels, The Kill Switch. My latest book is called The Questions Nobody Asks. And I actually ghost wrote that for...
The Questions Nobody Asks.
Yeah. Let me grab it.
No, take your time. And I mean that. So Break On Through, folks, I've got it behind me here, is really the greatest Doors book. And I have them all. Can you hold it up?
Yeah.
I want that book.
Robert
Mills.
Yeah. And it's basically an overview of
Robert
everything.
Mills, The Questions Nobody Asked book.
A little bit about aliens, a little bit about what's happening, and
you're looking off into space again.
Yeah, it's a little.
You're not looking at me.
Oh, sorry. It's a little.
Okay. Okay, it's just freaky.
It's a little bit about everything, and it's like an airplane read. I mean, you want a 20-minute thing on what's going on with aliens, all that kind of stuff,
Well, okay, James. So
I had a book 5 years ago. The book I was trying to get published was called Ready to Pop: The Rise of Murder in Mass America.
Wow.
Rise of Mass Murder in America. And I couldn't get anybody to publish it. Nobody. And I mean, I've had a lot of books published. I have a lot of a success record. And they were telling me, we think this is just a temporary thing. We don't think this is going to keep happening. That's just an isolated incident. One after the other. After the other.
They're going to let it keep happening until they can take all of our guns. And again, what can a government do with an unarmed citizenry? Anything they want. Rooting for Putin? ? No. I've read 2 of James' books. He's great. I want to tell you folks something, and I know this from research, and I've watched 800 people. And the minute anyone on the radio says the word book or author, they get turned off. I don't want you to turn this off yet, and I understand. But the setup to the Hindenburg is shocking as possible, and some mass consciousness was the okay. Well, it's interesting. I'm getting these calls. So, but the reason I'm having you on is none of that. And here's what happened. So I read 5 biographies a week, and you haven't read this book.
You read parts of it.
Yeah. You haven't read it. You haven't read it.
No.
Okay. Again, you're not looking at me.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, I understand this is not your technology. I get it. I sat in front of a radio mic for all those years. Okay, but James, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a very you and I have spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, we have.
You've been to my house many times.
Yes.
I consider us very good friends.
Yep.
I'm reading Oliver Stone, and I'm finding out all kinds of things about you. You had a huge impact on Oliver Stone's life, and you're so mild-mannered and you're so egoless that you haven't mentioned these things to me. Do you know that Don Simpson was reading your book when he died on the toilet, the guy that did Top Gun?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Well, that's what Stone says. This Don Simpson, who gave us the Top Gun movies and some of the big, Bruckheimer, Simpson, all this guy was reading a Riordin book when he died on the toilet. He was a big fan. And James Woods is a big fan of yours, and Oliver Stone, and but you're such a mild-mannered guy. I mean, you would have known all this about me the first time we met. So you're quoted in every chapter. I mean, are you aware of what a huge impact you had on Oliver Stone?
Well, I hope so. I mean, we had a lot of serious conversations and spent,
What did he get? What did he get wrong in the Doors movie?
Not a whole lot. I mean, maybe he didn't pay enough to the attention to the idol of what people want to remember, But as far as showing what Jim was pretty spontaneous and pretty reactionary and pretty just going through his life the way he went.
The witch that he married in that black mass wedding and all of that.
Oh yeah, Patricia.
Is there more to that story than what we know?
No, really.
Yeah,
there's really less. I mean, she wants to. I was on a talk show in Canada, and they brought her out and said, "Oh, she was married to Jim Morrison." And I'm like, he married her in a Wicca ceremony that she created, and he was gone 2 days later, and he didn't come back. I mean, no. Jim's love was Pam.
He does try to make that like that's a big deal.
Yeah, well,
you don't think he was into demonic stuff and
not intentionally. I think he was.
The lyrics are dark.
Huh?
The lyrics are dark. Hold on a second.
They are dark, and I think
I've been to Morrison's grave. I've been to Morrison's grave in France. Me too. And this is someone writing me here, James. Oh. And I've seen the half smoked joints, the empty bottles everywhere. It's kind of sad what Americans do. Okay. Jim Morrison, 51 years ago. What else? Yeah. Anyway. Is there anything else you want to tell me that I don't know? I mean, how did you keep the secret? And you know that he's written about you, and yet you haven't read the book?
I did read the book, but
Did you read this book?
Yeah. I just...
you're all through it.
I kind of skipped around. I mean, James, well.
Would I like him?
You'd like him if you could if politics were set aside and you just met him somewhere in a bar and you guys were just talking, you'd like him, yeah.
Should I try to get him on to talk about this book?
Well, you could try.
No, I'm not saying you have to do it. I can do it. But if you want to try, go ahead.
You could try. No, he might,
I'll tell you something. Look, I think he's politically we wouldn't get along. I'm sure that's right.
Right. But I mean, on things like the assassination of JFK and that Vietnam was a problem, you can't really argue with him about that.
Well, I think his take on, and I think it has changed since he did the movie, but I think his take on what happened with JFK is completely ridiculous.
You mean that being, I don't, do you believe there was some kind of conspiracy?
Well, I don't know where he's at now, and I don't remember the movie, except I did enjoy it. It had some incredible performances. I thought a lot of it was horseshit at the time, but I will tell you where I'm at now. And this is from talking to a lot of government people and CIA people and everybody else. And I think it was a hit by LBJ. And I think the mafia aided. And look, what happened in Texas. I mean, there's a reason that this, in my opinion, there's a reason what happened in Highland Park today happened on this day. There's a reason that the shooting happened in Dallas as the NRA convention was getting underway. Problem, reaction, solution. I want to make this very clear. I think this. That doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean I'm stating a fact. I'm telling you what my gut tells me. Has my butt been wrong? Yes. Has my after Taco Bell. Has my gut been wrong? Rarely, if ever. But it just the abortion issue. They've got nothing. So all of a sudden, this is an issue again. Nothing's really changed. If you want an abortion, you're not going to have any problem getting rid of your baby.
I agree. This is manufactured.
This is just to get the feminist women, the radical women in this death cult. This is to get them hyped up so they wouldn't vote for a DeSantis or a Trump or whoever it's going to be. They're losing. Their ideas don't work and they're losing. So here's abortion. Which, by the way, if you listen to me or you know me for many years, I'll tell you, abortion is a hot button, easy issue. When I came in hungover or tired or didn't want to do a show, I would go, abortion.
There it was.
And I'd let people calling it all upset, and I didn't have to work. And that's what they've done. This is gasoline and a match, and and did you hear that Kavanaugh burned down his own house just to get it over with?
No.
A joke. Margaret Sanger started it, of course. And what Margaret Sanger hated black people. This was a black baby extermination program, and there they are. We want it. We want it. Yeah, stupid. This is, you know, the Nazis had the same kind of programs, man.
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood is a vile organization. Have you seen the numbers of what they make? I remember sitting next to David Bowie, and he said, you know, I can't. And he'd done my show before, and he was coming out of Germany, and I was somewhere in Europe, and first class, and there's David Bowie. Yeah, you did my show. Oh, he remembered me, and he was doing new music when he did my show, and it was like, oh pretty awful. But anyway, his new stuff wasn't. His last stuff before he died was really incredible and daring, and he knew he was dying of cancer. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking around the Tin Machine era. Whatever he did on my show, I thought sucked. But that's not the point. I then ran into him, and I said, your skin is flawless. And he goes, well, I'm getting illegal. Don't say this on the radio. I said, I won't. He says, I'm getting illegal baby fetal tissues shot into my face. And you look very youthful. And he explained to me that it was from abortions. This is what David Bowie told me. And there is big money. People don't realize that. And of course, the businesses, corporate America doesn't want you to have a child because they don't want you to think about that kid. I know from having a staff of people. You know, I've always said, God, I would if I could start again, I would be Jewish. I would just say I was Jewish, and I would be a smoker, although I wouldn't really smoke. And I would say I had kids right away, because the smoking people. Well, I got to go smoke. So you know, I lost those people for 15 minutes an hour.
Yeah.
Hey, get back to work, asshole. And then the Jewish people, I don't know anything about their holidays, and so when I had Jewish people working for me, they took off a lot of days. It's spinning top Shoshana day. I can't be here. Okay, what am I going to do? Say something? Get my ass in trouble? But then, of course, they took Christmas off. They wanted all the other holidays too, but really doubled up on the time off, these Jewish folks. I wish I had said I was Jewish. And then, of course, I can't be here tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Well, that's prime time. What do you mean you can't be here? Oh, little Josh, tooth. Well, why didn't little Josh get his tooth taken out at 10? I never understood why these, you know, how about you say, no, I can't do it then. I'm working during the show. The show ended at 10 a.m. So anyway, if I could do it again, I would be called Spaz Goldberg. I would be Jewish with lots of kids and a smoker that needed to take breaks. Governor Mancow ain't going to happen, but hopefully Darren Bailey will. Pelosi's eyebrows are raised higher than Spock's now. Yes, or surgeons. Shooter's daddy ran for mayor in Highland Park. This we know. James, I encourage you still make money on Break On Through?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, if you like the Doors, read Break On Through. Let's put up some slides. I love you, James, and we got to get to work on our Hindenburg novel.
Yes.
I'm not an Oliver Stone fan, but boy, he just thinks James is the greatest guy on earth, and you had a big impact on one of the most important directors of all time, for sure. So, James, thank you. Let's go through these slides real quick, and I'm going to see you, James. I'm going to see you at Solder World this week, and I'm going to introduce you to the lead steed. And we love your calls. China Virus says it all in Sam Kennison's voice. God, just grab, man. This is great. So put it back up. Sure, yeah. So I want to have Timothy Alberino back on CERN. Look at the logo here. Is wait a minute. Why do I keep? There we go. Everything's reversed. So that's why I couldn't be a weatherman. So 666. You see the 666, and now China's doing one even bigger. And they are trying to work with dark matter and antimatter. And the opening ceremony for CERN, if you haven't seen it, God, there we go. The opening ceremony for CERN, if you haven't seen it, is something really to see and very satanic, and all of the elite was there. Let's go to the next slide. He's buying up farms. And isn't it interesting? Food producing factories are burning down and nobody's reporting it. Something good's coming for us, folks. Well, they're going to need a panic so they can have another dummied up voting situation. Don't you think? Don't you think they're getting us ready for another? This is Wormtongue and the King in Lord of the Rings. This is really, really awesome stuff. Any which way but up. Don't you feel another plague or something's coming? I mean, just in time for the election. Don't you kind of know that? Well, smart people do. Okay, what's next? Oh, that's not funny. That's not funny. Put it up again. That's not funny. Go back. Put that. I love that. Isn't that funny? No? Okay, let's go. Can't do that now. Let's go back. Okay, look at this. This is great. Gay as. Yeah. Remember that was no big story during the election? Anything else? Is that it? Yeah. I just got a message. And I think it's the most powerful one of the night. This was my first thought when I heard about the shooting. My kids were nearby. My wife was nearby. My friend Tony, my friend Billy Corrigan, and others. This is my area, man. And so I was making a lot of calls. But my first thought when I heard about it was Antifa. That was my first thought. I'm not saying it was Antifa. I'm not saying I'm right. And then the first picture of him with the hoodie, and I thought, well, looks like Antifa to me. Again, we don't know. I'm speculating. I'm not saying this is a fact. But that was my gut feeling. So we'll see if my gut was right there. Yeah, Dr. False Hope has been saying there's another pandemic coming. Yeah, Biden's been saying it. Need a rum suggestion. Well, I like Diplomatico. My friend owns Tiburon Rum, which is out of Belize, and I like that. Yeah, sure, I love rum. In fact, I have hold on. This is my rum Bible and a bottle of rum and Wayne Curtis, a bottle of rum. If you care about rum, you should read this book. And it is people, the English Navy, Her Majesty's service, were paid partially in rum, and that went on until like the 1970s. Part of your salary to be in the Navy for England was you got rum. Rum was a huge part of, that's why we wanted sugar for the rum. Tiburon, is that what they're saying? Is that the rum he's recommending, the sipping rum? Tiburon? That's my friend's company. I like Diplomatico. Put that back up, Nudie. The sickos with mental issues and their kid ran just like, oh, man. Yeah. Yes, over ice. Love you since 95. Thank you. Could have used you in 94, to be honest with you. This is the Lion's Den. I hope you knew that before you tuned in. This is where the angels and the devils fight. And they're choosing up sides tonight. Me, I'm part man, part monkey, part mystery. And the angels and the devils are playing tug of war with my personality. It is a fight. The fight is real. Good wins, God wins. Don't let these devils, be they Antifa or the godless BLM or anything else, or the communist, don't let these devils drag you down to their level. Fear is mentioned, as I said, 365 times in the Bible, and it's of the devil. A lot of people didn't go out because of fear today on this 4th of July. That's the devil. I don't feel it. I don't fear really much of anything. Fear is of the devil. Satan means the accuser. People in your life that accuse you of this and that and try to inject you with fear, get them out of your life. That's the beginning of Scientology, by the way. It's in Buddhism. It's in everything. If you're godless, you're not going to like where you have an eternity to learn how wrong you were and are. There is a God. I suggest you find him. And let's say a prayer tonight. Blessings, brother. Thank you, Frank. I see you. Thank you. Thank you. Lisa, I see you. Thank you. God bless you, folks. Malachi Martin story. It's one of my best. I'll do it next week. Malachi Martin was a regular in the Art Bell show. I guess I'm not going to wait. I'll tell it quickly. I don't know if Nudie has time. Do you have time? Do we have time to do this quickly? Malachi Martin was a great writer. He wrote a book. Hold on, I'm coming back. I've had this book and thrown it away over 8 times. It's the scariest book I've ever read. He was killed demonically, and he was next up to be the Pope, many believe, including him. He was a much trusted guy out of the Vatican. And he came on my show, Rock 103.5, in 1994 and said, well, he had a heavy, I sound like the Lucky Charms guy, Lucky, the leprechaun. I don't think I'm going to come on this show. I said, no, you're right. You're right, because Jesus only talked to Christians. So, no, you shouldn't come on the show and talk to 2.5 million non-Christians. So, hey, thanks a lot. We'll see you. No, wait. And he apologized and he went on and we became friends. And here's the story that I think the person is talking about. But let me just say one thing about this book. It talks about how there's a fissure, a tear in your soul, in your personality. And I think that's what Epstein was about. I think that's what Hillary is about. I think it's what a lot of these people are about. Now, I am changing the subject, so don't put these together. Okay? I'm changing the subject. But I do think that pedophilia is not a sexual thing. It is a satanic thing. And so whatever that child was going to be is destroyed forever. And it goes back to the very beginning of man, right? Get to a boy before he's 13, right? 13 is the age of reckoning and the age of adulthood. And so they need these kids, these boys, pre-13, and they rape them. They tear their soul apart. They destroy the id. They destroy their personality, and then satanic stuff sets in. And these are the people you see with the crazy hair, the crazy face tattoos, the craziness, and they're so angry and I want to kill my baby. I want to kill. And I just think a lot of them have tragic beginnings. I'm not mentioning anyone specifically, but I think those that inflict this and are part of this, the adrenochrome and all this kind of stuff, I think they get a dark satanic energy out of it. It can't beat prayer. It can't beat God, but there is evil. I remember a guy that worked on my show that we called Freak used to have demonic conversations in a mirror, he told me. And there's someone in this book who a goat-headed figure would appear and talk to him. And it was a hermaphrodite. It was sexless. Look, God made man and woman. The Satanists and the communists and the Democrats made 100 others. This is, to destroy what we are, to destroy the temple. That's what so much of this is about. Castrating children as kids, they're babies. This is all satanic. So Malachi Martin felt that in later years, same thing with William Peter Blatty, who wrote The Exorcist. How am I doing? I don't want to lose Nudie.
3 minutes.
3 minutes? Oh, it's going to be perfect. William Peter Blatty wrote The Exorcist. I dated Linda Blair. There's the book. There's the love note from William Peter Blatty. He was a friend of mine. But they both felt that Barack Obama and Bill and Hillary Clinton were perfect possessions, completely controlled by satanic forces. And that when you see somebody frothing at the mouth and spinning their heads and all that kind of stuff, like in the movie, that's a low level. That's a low level. They don't want to be exposed. That's a low level demonic infestation. And that's not one of the big chiefs. And there are different hierarchies in heaven and there are different hierarchies in hell. So I'm walking with Malachi Martin down the street in New York City. I believe Sean Hannity had a similar instance, it seems to me, talking about this years ago. He was also friends with Malachi Martin. They want to destroy the family, says Jeff and Paula. Yeah. And so I said, are there demonically possessed people? Oh, yes, but they're all around us. And we're crowded New York street, man, and it's morning time. And he says something in Latin and makes a sign of the cross. And this guy walking towards us couldn't have been set up in a full suit, Wall Street kind of guy, and scurried off the street and down the street and down, like he was on fire. Totally demonic. They're all around us. When you feel it, get those people out of your life. It's your spirit. It's God telling you, get away. Get away from them. Highland Park, you're in my prayers. Guys, you're in my prayers. Please keep me in your prayers. Morning and night. Be still and know. Do you know? If you know, you know. See you next week.